If you're launching a business or if you've already been building your business and you felt like you either have been undercharging, which a lot of us do, or even overcharging or overreaching rather, but you never quite land in the right place for your business, um, this episode is for you. I'm Bianca Burke, and welcome to the Maven Major podcast. This is a space where we help to guide and build women, especially mothers, to lead in their home, in their business, as well as within themselves. This topic in particular came to the forefront for me because I facilitated one of my advisory board meetings. I'm a part of two advisory boards, the Black Female Founders Network, as well as Building for Families boards. And I felt the need, and I felt like it was very relevant, not only because of my own entrepreneurial journey, but also I feel like many women who are like me, mothers on this journey, can relate to. So there's a space in between underpricing and outpricing. Okay. And that space is not only about strategy, pricing strategy, but it's truly about identity, which is a lot of the work that I do. Now, today, we're talking about that identity gap, right? Because that's where it starts. It's the gap between who you are right now and the version of you that can confidently hold the level of money, the level of success, and the level of visibility that you actually want. And that's what we're talking about. I want to be clear. This is not just about business, okay? This is about how you see yourself as a woman, as a mother, and as somebody who is allowed to want more. I speak to women every day. I speak to moms every day who do not see themselves as worthy. And that needs to change. We all know we live in a culture that ties your worth, to the income that you earn. Okay. And in a lot of ways, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Money is truly a proxy for value in the market, right? It reflects demand, it reflects impact, transformation, and perceived expertise. Okay. We know this. But where that notion breaks is that it was not built with mothers in mind, specifically and especially stay at home moms, or for women who have paused or maybe pivoted in their life, right? Or chose to prioritize family. When you step out of that traditional income structure, the world stops giving you the clear signals of your true value. You have to begin giving it to yourself. Okay. And for me, that hit hard because when I chose to become a stay at home mom, I knew exactly what I was giving up. Okay. I was giving up my sense of financial independence to stay home and raise my daughter. And if you're not careful with this, you begin to internalize, the silence of not speaking up about it, right? As I must not be worth as much. And I fall into that trap daily, right? Because I'm not, you know, making money in a traditional way, or I feel like my value isn't tied to money, then I feel like I need to overcompensate in the home. And that happens to me all the time. But I want to tell you that that is truly distortion. Your value, because you chose to prioritize family, did not decrease. Okay. As a stay at home mom, your labor just becomes a little bit more, or becomes really more invisible to the market. Right. And as stay at home moms, we suffer from that. But when you decide to build something of your own, which is the crux of what my community is built on, and the crux of what my coaching program is built on, When you decide as a stay-at-home mom to build something of your own, whether it be a brand, a business, whether you want to become a content creator, you're not starting from zero. And you need to know that you are starting from unrecognized value. Okay. That distinction truly does matter. So let's say the quiet part out loud. Okay. Because a lot of women struggle to voice this out loud. A lot of women want more money. They want more ease. They want more autonomy. They want more recognition. And they also want to be present mothers, right? They want flexibility. They want choices. They want to feel proud of what they're building. Okay. But instead of claiming that fully, it really does come out diluted, right? I hear, I just want a little something more. Or I don't need that much. Or I just want to help people. And while all of that is true and can be true, it is often incomplete because it's okay to want to supplement a little bit for your family, a little bit more for your family. It's okay to say, you know what? I have everything that I need. I don't need that much more, but it's okay to want more. And you can want to help people, but that energy needs to be reciprocated, right? In some way, right? That's energy. Underneath all of those things lies a deeper truth. We all want to be well compensated for the meaningful work that we are doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing excessive about that. What we have to change is that narrative. Hesitating to claim it is not about capability. It's truly about permission. You need to give yourself permission to want more, and that's okay. A lot of us suffer from these inherited narratives that we don't need, or we shouldn't want more, or enough is enough, or there's not enough to go around. That's outdated. So here's where the identity gap shows up. So underpricing happens when your identity, that the identity you have, has not caught up with your value, right? The outpricing feels like a stretch for you because your identity hasn't stabilized at that level yet. And that's okay because it does happen naturally, but being aware of it makes it 1,000 times more, intentional. It's better when you're aware of all of this happening. So what happens is you move back and forth, right? You either undervalue yourself to feel safe, or you overreach and then you start to second guess yourself, right? There's the gap. And then both of these things are symptoms of the same issue. You don't fully see yourself as the person who operates at that level. So it is important to start to close that gap. And it's not about forcing yourself to charge higher prices. It's more about expanding your self-concept to match that actual capacity or that actual capability. So let's redefine success, right? In a way that works for your life. Okay. I want to give you a simple model. It has 3 components. And this is very simple. Okay. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it. The 3 components are finance, your life, and your identity. And aligning those 3 with each other. That's it. In terms of finance, ask yourself, are you earning in a way that reflects the value that you create? Really ask yourself that. Secondly, with life, Ask yourself, does your work support the life you actually want? And that's really important because you need to take a look and take a step back and look at what you are, what your lifestyle is like and what lifestyle you want. Is it giving you the time that you need? Are you spending your time the way you want to? What about your flexibility? Is it flexible enough to keep you happy? Um, what about your presence? Are you present for the people, the things that you want? And especially if you're a mother, this is very important because our families are our number one priority, right? And thirdly, identity. Ask yourself, do you see yourself as the person who can hold both of these? Because if your identity is not aligned, the other two will always feel unstable. Because most people, they measure success in terms of the financial alignment. And that's why a lot of times they say, not everyone who's rich is happy. Just because you have money doesn't make you happy. Money doesn't buy happiness. Because of this, if you are making money, a substantial amount of money, but your life and your identity is not aligned, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. Real success is when all of those three things are working together in alignment. Now, when you close that gap, things then begin to shift. You'll find that your business will change. Your business changes, you stop over delivering to justify your prices, right? And you start positioning your work based on the transformation that you give your clients or your customers or your viewers or your audience, and not the effort that you're putting into it. And then your relationships change too, because you start to communicate more clearly. You set better boundaries for yourself when you align all these three. Those standards are set and you stop minimizing yourself. And thirdly, all comes back to self. Your self-respect completely changes. You trust yourself more, your decisions. You don't need constant validation from others. And you operate from a true sense of clarity instead of feeling that doubt. And it's not about pricing shift here. It's truly about setting a personal standard and shifting that. Your identity shifts with this. Now, here's something that you can do immediately because I always want you to have some kind of tangible practice that you can put into play today. Okay. I want you to write down what you are currently charging. What are you currently charging or what are you earning? Okay. Secondly, what do you actually want to earn? What you're currently charging or earning, does it match what you actually want to earn? And then answer this question after that. What version of me naturally operates at that level? Really think about this and be very honest. Don't perform, no forcing, right? Not a performance, not a force, just naturally operates. And really take your time with this. And then I want you to identify one way that you can start thinking, deciding, or communicating from that version today. Even if it's the smallest thing. Okay, because that's how it starts, right? That's how you build momentum with the very smallest first step, right? And that's how you begin closing the gap. And you continue to do that. You continue to evaluate and ask yourselves these questions on a regular basis. What am I earning? What am I charging? What do I actually want to earn? And what version of me naturally operates at that level? And then make that shift. It's not what you do. It's not what you earn. It is who you are and who you are becoming and how that truly compounds over time. So if this resonated for you, I want you to sit with that question. Like I said, sit with it, take your time, really think about it. And also, I've built and I'm building a growing community of women, of stay-at-home moms who are building for that next chapter of their lives. This is the village, the Maven Circle. It's a community of women who are growing and supporting each other along the way. It includes resources, expert-led trainings, and daily support. This is the village that we crave, that we feel like no longer exists. It is a community of women thriving together. Book a call with me. Let's see if this space is a fit for you. I'll see you in the next one.